Bosses who rub their co-workers the wrong way can make work a nightmare. To the rescue comes Dr. Laura Crawshaw, also known as the Boss Whisperer. She shares her book, Taming the Abrasive Manager, How to End Unnecessary Roughness in the Workplace. Why are you known as the Boss Whisperer?
I work to calm down unmanageable managers, and let me tell you about that. The common myth is that these are, demons. These are evil people, or sadistic, or monsters in some way. And what I found was that's not the case. Many people tell you away from work he's a nice guy, but when he's at work he's a bear.
You talk about fear in the book too.
This is the fear that I'm going to look bad, and I don't want to look bad. So anything that gets in the way of business becomes something that has to be gotten out of the way of business.
What are the characteristics of an abrasive manager?
So their first reaction is anxiety, leaping to conclusions, overreaction. The second behavior is over-controlling, where they want to control everything so everything goes all right. And you'll hear employees say, he treats us like children, he doesn't let us do anything on our own. The third is a threatening style, sort of my way or the highway. You better do it or else, which can make the work environment very tense. Then what we look at is public humiliation. This is where they'll shout at people in front of them, call them names, or simply criticize their performance, which is very humiliating. If you want to talk to me about my performance, take me behind closed doors. Don't do it in front of the rest of the office. And then the final behavior is condescension. A lot of them really believe that they are much more knowledgeable than anybody around them, and so they'll take an attitude of I know what I'm doing, you don't, or don't talk to me about it, I already know what needs to be done.
Where did they come up with this management style?
Well, that was my question. Did they go to a school for this? And in a way, they did, because they had these experiences earlier in life. One thing I learned is abuse is learned. You learn how to treat people from how you were treated. So many of them, I found, were treated very harshly in their early years, say in the family, where an aggressive style was the norm. Another is early work environments, where they think this is the way you manage people, a real kind of kick-ass environment.
Why don't companies intervene?
Companies fail to intervene for two reasons. Number one is they're afraid that it's going to disrupt work even further, that they're going to be talking to the individual, and the individual may argue with them, etc. The other reason is that many organizations feel it's hopeless. Well, why intervene? It's not going to do any good. We've talked to him or her, and they improved for a week, but things haven't changed. And that's one of the keys of this book, to understand, first of all, abrasive bosses can change. Organizations should not tolerate abuse. They pay a price for that.
So what does it take for a peer or an employee or a manager to get an abrasive boss to back off and treat people with respect?
The organization has to make them see and make them care about their behavior, and that's what I talk about in the book. The specific methods for giving them feedback so they are no longer blind to the harm they do, and the kinds of consequences and how to set them so that these individuals realize they can't go on this way. It's jeopardizing their survival in their workplace.
Can abrasive bosses change?
Yes, and I address that in the chapter on can bosses change their blind spots. They can change once they're made to see what they do. It's quite embarrassing for them, because what they learn is even if they're technically competent, they're interpersonally incompetent, and they don't want to be incompetent in any way, shape, or form.
What advice do you offer our viewers who think they may be an abrasive manager?
There's a self-test in the back of the book, but I would say if you've been dubbed with a few nicknames, wildebeest, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Pitbull, that could be a sign. Also, if you've ever been told to be lighter on people, or to work on your people skills, that is definitely an indicator that you may be an abrasive boss.
Final thoughts?
Yes, I think the time has really come to take workplace abuse seriously and do something about it. The key is not to have to survive a bully boss. People should not have to endure suffering when they come to work. And I'm not talking about everybody being nicey-nicey. I'm talking about people treating each other with respect.